Welcome to Emotions and Eating with Nicola-beer. Nicola controlled her feelings using food for 25 years, so she knows how draining it is to be constantly thinking about or acting out with food. Thankfully, having made an amazing breakthrough in her recovery, her mission became about helping others escape the unsatisfying cycle of frustration and self-medication with food. Nicola is determined to help you find your inner strength so you can be healthy, gain confidence, feel great, and be at peace with yourself and food.
Hi and welcome, this is Nicola-beer and I'm so happy you are here because I'm going to be talking about a really important topic today, and that is acceptance. Because acceptance is the key to peace. And as you may or not know, I have created the Pure Peace Formula. The Pure Peace Formula is basically a step-by-step guide, either taken one-to-one or in a group format, to help people break the destructive cycle of binge eating, compulsive eating, bulimia, and any other eating difficulty that leads to starving and binging. If you find yourself medicating with food, if you find yourself frustrated by your eating habits, if you feel guilty or think about food way too much, then you're in the right place. This is what I help people with, and this is what I actually struggled with for 25 years, and thank goodness I am free. And I want to spread the message to help other people become free from this life-debilitating problem. Because if you're not happy with yourself, if you're feeling guilty around food, annoyed at yourself around food, worried about food, scared about food, stressed about food, you're not going to be living your life to the max. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to be free, to be happy, to live vibrantly, and focus on what really matters in life. Love, relationships, having fun, making a difference, finding your purpose, fulfilling your purpose, and all things like that, which is what I help those that decide to join me for my group program or my one-to-one program to do. So acceptance is the key to peace. It's really important for us to accept all parts of ourselves, because to love ourselves, which is essential for enjoying life, we need to be connected to all parts of ourselves. We need to accept all parts of ourselves, even those we dislike or that make us feel uncomfortable, ashamed or vulnerable. When we deny parts of ourselves, we tend to get more bugged by them, and they come up again and again. Think of all the times you've denied part of you that has a problem with food, and how much more difficult it seemed, and how much it more seemed to affect you more when you denied that part of you. When I tried to deny that I had a problem with bulimia, being sick, when I told myself it's not a problem and played it down, it actually became worse. When we actually accept our imperfections, it allows us just to be at peace, and therefore we'll be able to be more loving to ourselves, more kind to ourselves, and have that inner peace. Far, far easy. By accepting parts of ourselves, I mean both personality and emotional imperfections, and perceived physical imperfections. Some of my imperfections are that I can be irritable, selfish, moody, jealous, and self-loathing at times. Obviously, I strive not to be those things, but sometimes they can be. And this is not who I am. This is just how I can behave if I'm feeling fearful, anxious, hungry, tired, or stressed. The important thing is not to deny that part of me. Instead, when it comes up, correct the behaviour and let it go. For example, if I'm having a bad day where I didn't get much sleep and I experience what I perceive to be poor customer service, I can raise my voice and I can get snappy with them. Are you with me? Perhaps you can relate. And then I realise, okay, that was wrong of me. That person has not done anything. So I feel like a guilt for a bit, a healthy guilt, and then I go and apologise to them if I can, and if I can't, apologise to them because I've left the store and it was ages ago or whatever, then I make sure that, okay, moving forward, I'm going to be kind to customer service professionals moving forward. And I make a pact to do that moving forward when I come across customer service professionals. I don't beat myself up or tell myself I'm a bad person. I accept that sometimes I get angry and it comes out, and I correct myself as soon as I can. Now let's talk about physical parts of us. Physical imperfections, or perceived physical imperfections. Because actually we are perfectly imperfect, and that's what I really believe. I now accept my stomach too. For years I hated it. I would call it fat and horrible, wishing that I could just cut 7 inches of fat off it. I had starved myself to nothing before, and my stomach was still there. And I mentioned in another podcast about how when I was at the water park, I was told that I wouldn't be able to go on the ride because I looked pregnant. And how devastating that was to me at the time, because it was my birthday and that was just the last thing I needed to hear. And it became an obsession for a while. It became an obsession to try and get a 6-pack. I absolutely hate it. In fact, I hated it so much that my boyfriends and my partners would not even be able to touch it because it made me feel uncomfortable. I used to show it to myself in the mirror sometimes, actually quite a lot of the time, when I was fully acting out in my eating behaviours. And I used to pull up my top and I used to show myself how fat I was and say, look at your fat, you need to lose weight. And now that's completely transformed. Applying the principles in my Pure Peace formula, I'm much able now to love it. It's part of me. I accept it as beautiful, as a part of my body, and if anyone has a problem with it, then they're not worth being with, because I love it. I don't berate myself about it, and it doesn't bother me. Of course, I'm going to dress the best way I can around it. I don't wear a top that exposes my whole stomach, of course. But I don't have a problem with it. I accept it. It is part of my makeup, and that's it. And when I accept all part of my body, I have less craving to starve, to be sick, or to engage in excessive exercise. When I accepted all parts of my personality trait, I felt less craving to binge on food, less craving to punish myself with food by not eating, as I was at peace with myself. Am I making sense? I hope so. It was a case of, oh, that was not really who I am, that's behaviour. When I snap, when I shout, when someone cuts me off and I get annoyed, when I get a call from call centre, that also sometimes, if I'm in a bad mood, can bug me, because I think, why are you calling me? Why are you interrupting my day? Which is so rude, because obviously they're just doing their job and I'm getting annoyed, and all they've said to me is hello. And when I do that, and I am getting better and better and better at being nice, I apologise and I make a vow now to be really nice to all people that call me. So now I have a much different relationship to people that call me. I ask them how they are. I tell them no thank you in a really polite way, and make sure that they feel good about themselves. And I've got to correct that. So it's not a case of, am I going to be perfect all the time? It's about progress, not perfection. And the more I can accept myself and say, okay, Nicola, you've done that was wrong, now focus on being a better person, I'm at peace. Whereas if I just continue to fuel the fire and carry on and say, like, that's not a problem, or I'm perfect, or all kinds of things like that, then I'm just going to eat more, and I'm just going to be stressed more, and I'm not going to like myself. So the key to peace is accepting all parts of yourself. And part of emotional eating is loving all parts of yourself. It's about acknowledging and bringing to light the parts of you that you don't like, and then liking it. So now let's switch gear a little bit, and let's talk about the other real thing that you don't like right now about your food behaviour. The key to recovery is to learn to accept this part of you. It's a process I've taken countless men and women through. I've worked with people who are compulsively eating, emotional eating, binge eating, starving themselves, being sick, taking laxatives. And once we go through this process to loving whatever part of you is acting out, the results are outstanding. When Katie began to love that part of herself that ate all night after work, she did it less and less until she didn't want to eat cheese and crackers anymore. She found peace because instead of fighting it, she embraced this habit of hers. Dan used to make himself sick after eating, always whilst drinking alcohol. He would head to the bathroom and be sick. He was so ashamed of it, he denied it for 14 years, and he even lost his marriage over it. When he came to face it, he was able to begin to heal and to deal with the unresolved emotions beneath the pattern. Make a concerted effort now to love that part of you. When it comes up, don't criticize yourself or run yourself into the ground. I'll share more about letting go of guilt coming up in another podcast. So stay tuned to that, and do be sure to subscribe to the show to make sure that you don't miss any episodes, because the very episode that you might need may not be in your app that you use because you haven't subscribed. And I don't want you to miss any valuable topics, because guilt is definitely something that a lot of us struggle with. And if you cannot wait and you would like help straight away, then do feel free to get one of my 2 free gifts that I am giving away. One of them is the 5-part audio, which is basically sharing 3 secrets on how to become free from emotional eating. It is over 3 hours long, the whole thing, and it's spread over 5 days. So if you would like more support and really want to get into the real power of letting go of it, and I encourage you to listen to that 5-part audio. And I also have my peaceful eating free 30-minute strategy session. And you can go to the link and you can sign up there and book a time that suits you in your calendar, and we'll be able to discuss what is holding you back from really changing your eating behaviour. And this is something that I'm passionate to do. There's absolutely no obligation to join the Pure Peace Formula program. Of course, if you want to, I'd be happy to share more about it with you and how it's helped many men and women to transform their lives. And I can share with you the steps that I took to become free. And the great thing about taking those kind of actions is, in taking those kind of actions, you are accepting to yourself that there is part of you that wants to change. And when you accept yourself, and when you accept your imperfections, you can also accept other people's attitudes, behaviours and actions more easily without getting bothered by them. And this means less emotional eating and destructive food behaviour, because we're able to get along better with bosses, family members, romantic partners when we accept them. As they accept us and we accept them, it means more happiness and less stress. And less stress means less overeating and less acting out with food in another way, if that makes sense. I love the statement frequently used in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and this is basically a training for the mind. What they say everybody is doing the best they can with the resources they have. Right now, you are doing the best you can with the resources that you have. And I truly believe that. And when I look back to the days where I was really being sick, where I was really starving myself, or when I was overeating, what I was really searching for was love. What I was really searching for was to break free from the loneliness. What I was really searching for was companionship, was for comfort. And I turned to food. And when I was really angry and really stressed and really down on life, I didn't know how to get rid of that anger. I didn't know how to get rid of that stress in me. And so I used not eating as a punishment. Or I used food, stuffing down far too much food for my body to handle, as a punishment. And this was something that I did because I was struggling. I didn't have the resources that I do now.